Part 38. If the confession fails, chase her bestie. Author, Ren Shenkui Ken Ru Xiahua. Chapter 371. Sure, but it's already 3:30 in the afternoon, so it's impossible to buy tickets, right? Li Yuan laughed. Don't worry, you can definitely buy them. You know, there is a profession called scalper in this world, which is dedicated to reselling. Maybe you can buy front row tickets. Li Yuan was also a little eager. He had never watched Jay Chu's concert in his 2 lifetimes. In his previous life, he only accompanied Bai Wuxi to watch Sun Yanzi's concert once. The two of them spent 1,000 yuan, and they were in the back seats. Zhong Tingyu smiled. Oh, senior, I listen to you. Li Yuan nodded and smiled. Okay, let's go directly, find a scalper to buy tickets first, and then walk around the surrounding area. When the two arrived at the Magic City Stadium, it was already 4 o'clock in the afternoon. In front of the stadium, there were huge posters, and many couples or girlfriends were already hanging out in front of the stadium. Zhong Tingyu was holding her bag in one hand and holding Li Yuan's arm with the other, looking very excited. Senior, this is my first time to listen to a live concert since I was a child. In the past, I liked listening to music and singing very much, but when I was in high school, after knowing the truth of the matter, I hid all my interests and concentrated on studying. Because I believe that through learning, I can change my destiny. And I am really happy. After 3 years of hard work in high school, I was lucky to be admitted to Daxia University. Even more fortunately, I met you because of this. Li Yuan hugged Zhong Tingyu, touched her head, and said gently, Little Moon, it is also my luck to meet you. Don't worry, I will accompany you in the future. No matter what you encounter, I will be by your side to face all the ups and downs. Zhong Tingyu stared at Li Yuan's eyes, and suddenly, boldly tiptoed and took the initiative to offer a kiss. Li Yuan also immediately put his arms around Zhong Tingyu, ignoring the gazes of passers-by in public, and responded eagerly. The two people kissed in public, and their height and body shape stood out from the crowd. Such outstandingness naturally caused a lot of discussion among passers-by. Among them, 2 girls who looked to be in their 20s were laughing at the side. Xiao Yan, look over there, someone is kissing passionately in the square. The girl has a really good figure, a thin waist, very long legs, and even a perky butt. Hee, should we go over and scare them? We hate people showing off their affection in front of us the most. Okay, let's pretend to be passers-by passing by them. I want to see what this girl with such a good figure looks like. 2 beautiful and youthful girls, holding milk tea, passed by Li Yuan and Zhong Tingyu casually. Wow, this girl is so pretty. As a girl, I am a little fascinated by her looks. Xiao Yan, this boy is also very handsome, and he looks a little familiar. I feel like I have seen him somewhere before, like a star. Ah, I remember, isn't he the popular guy named Born Like Summer Flowers on the internet? Oh my god, he is really the Xiahua male god. He is my new idol. Born Like Summer Flowers? Are you talking about the Xiahua male god who wrote Battle of the Stars, No Makeup and Confession Balloon? Yes, that's him. He is really tall and handsome when he is seen in person. Is the person Xiahua male god is kissing his girlfriend? Lulu, I want to say hello to Xiahua male god, but I dare not. Please help me find a way. Xiao Yan, your Xiahua male god is kissing his girlfriend. It would be wrong for us to disturb him. Because of the close distance and the keyword Xiahua, the 2 girls' discussions could not help but reach Li Yuan's ears. Li Yuan let go of the panting Zhong Tingyu, licked his lips, and glanced around. He saw 2 girls 5 or 6 meters away, staring at the 2 of them. The discussion just now was made by them. Li Yuan looked at Zhong Tingyu's slightly blurred eyes with an awkward expression, and laughed. Hee, Xiao Yu, let's kiss after we get home. Someone is watching us now. Zhong Tingyu's pretty face turned red. She was also aroused by Li Yuan's words just now. She couldn't help but want to hug him and kiss him. Listening to Li Yuan's words and following his eyes, she also saw someone around her spying on her. Suddenly, her face became even more embarrassed and her heartbeat was constantly accelerating. She was not so bold, but when she was with Li Yuan, she always couldn't help wanting to get close to him, to hug him, as if he had a special smell that had a fatal attraction to her. Zhong Tingyu shyly pulled Li Yuan's hand and urged, "Senior, let's go quickly." Li Yuan also smiled, "Well, let's go find a scalper to buy tickets." Just as the two were about to leave, suddenly, the two girls suddenly trotted over quickly. One of them was very handsome, about 1.6 meters tall, wearing Adidas sneakers and silver-framed glasses. She came to Li Yuan and said excitedly, "Hello, Xiahua, I'm your fan." Li Yuan just noticed these two girls who had been talking about him. He was a little surprised when they suddenly came over to say hello. He didn't expect that he would meet his fans when he came to Jay Chu's concert. Li Yuan smiled and said hello, hello. The girl smiled and said, "Xiahua, are you also here to attend the concert?" Li Yuan nodded, "Yes, what do you want?" The girl with glasses shyly took out a CD from her bag and handed it to Li Yuan, asking nervously, Xiahua, I like your songs very much, can you sign it for me?" Li Yuan glanced at the exquisite CD, his mouth twitched, and his eyes were very strange. "Because, this CD is Jay Chu's album." Li Yuan glanced at the girl with glasses speechlessly, thinking, "You still say you are my fan, at least you should bring me a copy of Battle Starry Sky to sign, right?" "Ahem, sorry, I don't have a pen." Chapter 220 The Turmoil at the Concert, Jay Chu's Invitation. Hearing Li Yuan's answer, the girl with glasses quickly took out another signature pen from her bag, handed it over, and stared at Li Yuan expectantly. Li Yuan was stunned and thought, "Good guy, you are well prepared. You are not going to ask me for an autograph, but to ask Jaejo, the protagonist of today's concert, for an autograph." Li Yuan glanced at the girl with glasses and saw that she had an expectant look on her face. After a cough, she finally took the pen and signed her name on Jay Chu's music album. Seeing Li Yuan sign, the girl with glasses immediately smiled happily, holding the album CD in her arms as if it were a treasure, and thanked him with a smile. "Xiahua, thank you, you are so nice." "Xiahua, are you going to see Jay Chu's concert?" Li Yuan smiled and nodded. "Hee, what a coincidence, we're going to." The girl with glasses took out a concert ticket from her bag and waved it in her hand. "Xiahua, I want to ask, when will you hold a concert? Many fans of our Xiahua fan club are waiting to hear you sing." Li Yuan immediately became very fond of him. Who can say no to his fans? He smiled slightly and explained, "Let's talk about it later. I haven't planned it yet." He wrote songs purely for Zhang Ziyu, Zhong Tingyu, Bai Wuxi and other girls, using songs to promote feelings and save Shura Field, but he didn't mean to enter the entertainment industry. Although being a singer is indeed good, he knows his own level. Even with the blessing of rebirth, it is only the upper middle amateur level, which is a big gap from professional singers. Besides, if he really becomes a star, a scumbag like him who has several girlfriends will also be a bad artist and will be banned by the media. "Xiahua, when can you re-record those songs you sang, release an album, or upload them to the internet?" "It depends on the situation. I'm a bit busy recently." "Oh, Xiahua, do you have any new songs recently? I especially like your song No Makeup. Maybe, but it's not certain." "Xiahua, I think you can be a big star like Jaejo." "Xiahua, is this beautiful woman next to you your girlfriend?" Seeing that the girl wanted to continue chatting, and even started gossiping about her love life, Li Yuan broke out in a cold sweat, and quickly grabbed Zhong Tingyu's hand, smiling awkwardly and replied, "Sorry, we have something else to do, you guys take your time shopping." After saying that, without waiting for the glasses girl's response, Li Yuan pulled Zhong Tingyu and left quickly. The girl with glasses looked at Li Yuan reluctantly as he and Zhong Tingyu left, and excitedly pulled her best friend beside him. If the confession fails, chase her bestie. Author, Ren Shenkui Kan Ru Xiahua. Chapter 372. Lulu, Xiahua is so gentle and handsome, I love him so much. He is indeed my idol, he doesn't have any celebrity airs at all. Oh no, I was so busy chatting with Xiahua that I forgot to take a photo. Another girl looked at her best friend with a happy and crazy look on her face, curled her lips and muttered, "No matter how much you love him, he can't love you, just forget it." But, Xiao Yan, your idol's girlfriend is really super beautiful, with a unique temperament, I am a little moved when I see her. The girl with glasses answered proudly, "Of course, girls who are not beautiful are not worthy of Xiahua. Lulu, I heard rumors online that Xiahua has 4 girlfriends, all of them are very beautiful, this should be one of them." Tisk tisk, he has 4 girlfriends? Your Xiahua male god is really a playboy? Even if the rumors on the internet are true, but putting aside Xiahua male god's playboyhood, is my male god not talented enough? Not handsome enough? Not gentle enough? As soon as the two left, Zhong Tingyu, who was held tightly by Li Yuan, glanced at Li Yuan with her beautiful eyes, and imitated the tone of the girl with glasses just now, and smiled and teased. "Hee hee, Xiahua male god, I am also your fan, please sign for me too." Li Yuan couldn't help but pinch Zhong Tingyu's face and teased. "Hee hee, Xiao Yu, do you want an autograph too? It's simple, when I go home tonight, I will use my mouth to sign one for you personally." While joking, Li Yuan also gestured to her body with his eyes, especially staying on the pair of well-behaved bears for a few seconds. Lovers like to plant mushrooms on each other's bodies, and even tattoo each other's names to express their love. I signed with my mouth, isn't that too much? Zhong Tingyu listened to Li Yuan's dirty talk, her body trembled suddenly, she clamped her legs together, blushed and spat, and whispered shyly, "Stinky Senior, you are so bad, you just know how to bully me all day long." Li Yuan put his arm around Zhong Tingyu's shoulders, pinched her earlobe, and smiled, "Who made you so jealous?" Zhong Tingyu rolled her eyes at Li Yuan, and snorted with a hint of meaning. "Who made you so outstanding, brother Xiahua? There are a lot of fans wherever you go, I'm afraid your soul will be seduced away by these female fans." Li Yuan smiled awkwardly, after his rebirth, he did have a physique of attracting bees and butterflies. In addition to Zhong, Xia, Bai, and Zhang, there are several girls who are eyeing him covetously. For example, the instructor Chi Siu occasionally sent him messages these 2 days, and the meaning behind the words was very obvious. She has been coveting his talent and body. Last time, those few lines of the song really touched Chi Siu's heart, like a soul-enticing lock, hooking her soul and making her obsessed with him. The shocking encounter with Chi Siu in the office appeared in his mind, and Li Yuan's body shuddered, and he quickly expelled this bad thought from his mind. He had already promised Zhong Tingyu that he would not attract bees and butterflies. Li Yuan smiled and suggested, "Xiao Yu, I think we should both wear masks, otherwise we may be recognized wherever we go, and we will have no privacy at all." Zhong Tingyu nodded in agreement. When she went shopping alone, she often wore a mask to reduce the probability of being approached. But even so, she is often approached. She has been approached for more than a month in college, and the number of times she has been approached has exceeded 3 digits. Zhong Tingyu listened to Li Yuan's advice and chuckled, "Hee hee, Senior, you are really too famous. You can meet your fans wherever you go. I can't help it. I am just so outstanding. Looking at the eyes of those female fans, I am like a tang monk's meat, as if they want to eat me. Li Yuan spread his hands and joked. Fortunately, there is a big beauty like you around, so they can restrain themselves. Your appearance scared them all away. Zhong Tingyu's eyes curved into crescents, and she snorted, "Tisk, senior, you are so narcissistic, and you are very good at making girls happy. I am telling the truth, Xiao Yu, do you believe it? If you were not around me, many girls would definitely come to approach me and ask for my contact information." Zhong Tingyu rolled her eyes at Li Yuan with her beautiful eyes, smiled slightly, and did not answer. Because, what Li Yuan said was right. Li Yuan held Zhong Tingyu's hand and smiled, "Little Moon, let's go find a scalper to buy tickets first." There were still many scalpers in front of the stadium. Before Li Yuan could ask around, a scalper selling second-hand tickets came up to him. Finally, after confirming the authenticity of the tickets, Li Yuan spent 6,000 yuan to buy 2 tickets to the front of the concert. In 2008, spending 6,000 yuan to listen to a concert was really expensive. Li Yuan raised the tickets in his hand and smiled excitedly, "Little Moon, these 2 tickets are in the front, maybe I can even high-five J-Jo tonight." Zhong Tingyu saw Li Yuan's excited expression as if he was chasing a star, and couldn't help but joked, "Senior, why do I feel a little weird?" Li Yuan asked in confusion, "What's weird?" Zhong Tingyu smiled and pursed her lips, "Hee, it feels like a star chasing another star." Li Yuan was speechless and said self-deprecatingly, "What kind of star am I? At best, I am just a college student with some gossip. I can't compare with superstars like J-Jo." Zhong Tingyu looked strange, holding Li Yuan's hand tightly and cheering him on. "Senior, don't underestimate yourself. You are already very good. In my heart, you are the best. Keep going. I believe that one day you will be able to reach that level, or even surpass them." Li Yuan sneered, "Xiao Yu, you are more confident in me than I am." Zhong Tingyu replied with a grin, "Of course, you are the omnipotent Xiahua male god." "Right, brother Xiahua." Li Yuan hugged Zhong Tingyu, stretched out a hand, gently patted her hips, and said with a smile, "Xiao Yu, your butt hurts, right? Let's see if you dare to laugh at your husband." Zhong Tingyu pretended to be pitiful, "Ah, husband, spare me, I dare not." The two walked around the gym for a while, bought some snacks, light sticks, etc., and got a concert playlist by the way. They wore masks and walked hand in hand to the front row. The Magic City Stadium is very spacious. Li Yuan spent 6,000 yuan to buy a front row ticket for the inner field. The seat is naturally very good, just in the first row on the side of the stage. "Little Moon, the seat is here." Zhong Tingyu sat next to Li Yuan, and the two of them were close together. She took out her pink and white mobile phone and excitedly took a few photos of the stage and the surroundings and showed them to Li Yuan. "Senior, there are really a lot of people at the concert today. It should be very lively in a while." Seeing Zhong Tingyu so excited, Li Yuan also smiled, "Of course, this is Jay-Chu's concert, it's normal to have a lot of people." "Hee, senior, can we take a photo together?" Zhong Tingyu glanced at Li Yuan, raised her mobile phone, and showed an expectant look. Since the beginning of college, when the two were together, she always took some personal photos of Li Yuan and photos of the two of them. Li Yuan smiled, "Of course." When Zhong Tingyu heard it, she took off her mask, put her head close to Li Yuan, held the mobile phone, and gestured. Seeing this, Li Yuan also took off his mask, smiled, and made the same gesture as Zhong Tingyu. Click. The shutter button was pressed. And 2 figures appeared in the phone. "Senior, come and see how I took the photo." Zhong Tingyu excitedly showed Li Yuan the photo on the phone. "Let me see." Li Yuan looked at the headshots of the two people in the phone. Although the picture was not as clear as the high-pixel mobile phones in the future, it had a kind of hazy beauty unique to this era. With a thought in his mind, he suddenly thought of the feeling when he looked at the QQ spaces of several girlfriends before. Each of them was recording every bit of being with him. But in his QQ space, there was no trace of them. No. There was also one person. He had hidden some photos of him and Biwixi in high school. The photos are very nice. Send them to me when you get back. I will save them as a souvenir. Senior, you don't have any photos of us, do you? How is that possible? You must have some. Hee, I don't believe it. I can't even see them in your QQ Space album. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. If the confession fails, chase her bestie. Author, Ren Shenkui Ken Ru Xiahua. Chapter 373. I hid it? I'll open the permission for you when I get back. Yes, senior, my photo album will only be opened for you. Li Yuan was ashamed. He had made up his mind. After opening the VIP of QQ, he would create a separate photo album for each of them to commemorate the time together. Soon, the concert was about to begin. The lights and cheers on the scene became completely lively. The deafening sound made Li Yuan feel that his eardrums were trembling. The memories that had disappeared for many years reappeared in his mind. When Jae-jo suddenly appeared on the automatic elevator on the stage, the decibels on the scene instantly reached a peak. Jae-jo, Jae-jo. I love you, I love you. Li Yuan kept holding Zhong Tingyu's hand, listening to the cheers in his ears, and enjoying this enthusiastic atmosphere on the scene. The Chinese music scene before 2010 was an era of gods fighting, and various classic divine songs in later generations emerged one after another. Especially as a superstar in the Chinese music scene, Jae-jo is in a highly productive state. Songs such as Rice Fragrance, Blue and White Porcelain, Landing Preface, and Where Is the Happiness We Promised, released in 2008, are still very popular even after more than 10 years. On the stage, Jae-jo was making an opening introduction for the concert. Dear fans and friends, welcome to my world tour concert in Shanghai. Next, I will bring you the first song, Blue and White Porcelain. I hope you like it. Listening to Jae-jo singing classic songs on the stage, Li Yuan was also infected by the atmosphere of the scene, and the 10,000-person stadium shouted in unison, which was indeed very impressive. Even Zhong Tingyu couldn't help but follow the rhythm of the whole audience, waving her light stick and singing along. The sky is blue and waiting for the rain, and I am waiting for you, the smoke from the cooking rises. I will send you away, thousands of miles away. With the fragrance of rice, the river continues to run, smiling slightly. I know the dream of childhood. As promised, I understand happiness, I won't say it anymore. Love fades, dreams are far away. Zhong Tingyu held Li Yuan tightly with one hand, and talked happily with Li Yuan. Seeing Zhong Tingyu so excited, Li Yuan smiled and asked, Xiao Yu, do you like the atmosphere of the concert? Senior, I like it very much. The atmosphere of this concert is great. Tens of thousands of people sing along together. It feels so good. Haha, if you like it, we can come often in the future. Hee, okay. This world tour concert soon reached the stage of singers and audience interaction at halftime. As the lights kept flashing, the figures of the audience kept appearing on the huge screen. Suddenly, Li Yuan felt that the camera had captured himself and Zhong Tingyu beside him. He thought the camera light would turn around quickly, but unexpectedly, it would suddenly stop on him. Li Yuan's face appeared on the big screen at the scene. Zhong Tingyu looked at the faces of the two people on the big screen, pursed her lips in shock, and exclaimed, "Senior, the two of us are on the big screen." Li Yuan looked at himself on the big screen and was also shocked. It can't be such a coincidence. There were tens of thousands of people at the scene, and he was photographed like this. Li Yuan was very suspicious whether there was a shady deal in this. As the figures of Li Yuan and Zhong Tingyu appeared on the big screen, many fans who loved music among the tens of thousands of fans at the scene instantly exclaimed, like the girl with glasses who met in front of the gymnasium, "Wow, Liu, isn't this my Zaiwa male god? What a coincidence, how did he get to interact with Ji Lun? Xiao Yan, do you still need to think about it? This must be an inside story, arranged in advance. Your Zaiwa male god is also very famous now. He is a genius music creator, a well-known writer, and the boss of Jihu.com. He can be a special guest at Ji Lun's concert." "That's right, wow, Zaiwa male god and Ji Lun are both my idols, I really want to hear them sing together on stage. Liu, hurry up and shout with me, Zaiwa male god, come on. Zaiwa male god, come on." Beside the two girls, there were fans who didn't know Li Yuan. They looked at the two crazy shouting girls curiously and asked curiously, "Two beauties, who is the Zaiwa male god you are talking about? Is he famous?" As a member of the Zaiwa fan club, the glasses girl named Xiao Yan shouted excitedly and immediately conducted popular science. "You don't even know Xiahua? You're too out, right? Xiahua sang online hits such as No Makeup, Confession Balloon, and Just Met You, which are ranked at the top on Qian Jingting, QQ Music, and Qzhou Music. By the way, Xiahua also wrote the first online masterpiece Battle of the Stars, and is currently the most famous online writer in China. Also, you should have heard of the very popular Zhe website, which was also developed by Xiahua." Listening to the explanation of the girl with glasses, the person asking the question had an expression of sudden enlightenment. "Oh, so you are talking about him. I have heard him sing No Makeup, which is really very nice. No wonder there are so many shouts of Xiahua at the scene. Is he a special guest invited by Ji Lun?" The girl with glasses giggled and said, "That's right. Handsome guy, hurry up and shout with us, Zaiwa male god, come on, and let Zaiwa male god come on stage to sing with Ji Lun. Well, let's shout together, Xiahua, let's sing one." This scene that happened next to the bespectacled girl Xiao Yan kept appearing throughout the concert in front of tens of thousands of people. The sound of Zaiwa echoed throughout the scene, and even Zhou on the stage and the podium backstage were very surprised. Li Yuan's reputation is not small, especially with the popularity of Jihu.com these days. He is quite accomplished in music, literature, and technology. On the podium behind the scenes, listening to the cheers and shouts, I immediately searched for relevant information about Li Yuan. And quickly passed the relevant information about Li Yuan to Zhou Lun on the stage through the headset. Ji Lun, they call Xiahua, whose real name is Li Yuan, is a freshman at Daxia University. He is the author of the current best-selling online novel Fighting Starry Sky and Born Like a Summer Flower. He also wrote Su Yan, and songs such as Confession Balloon and Just Met You are very popular on online music platforms. In addition, he is also the boss of Zhe.com. In short, this Xiahua is very talented and has a good background. He may be the descendant of a certain business tycoon in Magic City. He will have great potential in the future. Ji Lun, now, you invite him to the stage for interaction. Zhou Lun looked slightly surprised when he listened to the introduction about Li Yuan backstage, but quickly regained his composure. As a singer, although he has the status of a superstar among male singers in the Chinese music scene, he also likes to listen to music. I happen to have listened to several songs written by Li Yuan. The song No Makeup was just that. Although it was very rhythmic and always ranked first among new songs, it was not his favorite type. but the song Confession Balloon gave him a very special feeling. It was a bit like the rhythm of his own singing, which was very consistent with his perception. As for the song Just Met You, the lyrics are very good. Although the singing is average, it's still pretty good. All kinds of thoughts flashed through Jojo Alun's mind, listening to the cheers at the scene. Jae-jo came to Lee Yuen, raised the microphone, looked at the audience, and shouted loudly. All the fans in the audience, let me give Seohwa a warm round of applause to come on stage. As Jae-jo spoke up, the applause and shouts at the scene became even more deafening. Jae-jo looked at Lee Yuen with a smile and said an invitation. Seohwa, the applause from the fans here is so fierce, come on stage and show your face. Looking at Jae-jo who was so close, Lee Yuen's heart kept accelerating and he suddenly felt a little nervous. This was the first time in his 2 lifetimes that he had such close contact with a well-known big shot. This big shot was one of his idols in his previous life, a superstar in the Chinese music scene. Lee Yuen glanced at Jojo Alun, who was dressed very stylishly, and saw that he had already extended his hand to invite him. Lee Yuen couldn't help but give the other party some face, smiled and nodded, mustering up the courage in his heart. He walked up the steps amidst the cheers of tens of thousands of spectators in the audience. When the audience saw that Lee Yuen had really appeared on the stage, the shouts became even more deafening, causing the decibel level at the scene to reach its peak. The summer flowers are big, let's play a song. Zaiwa Male God, I love you. Senior, come on. Amid the cheers at the scene, Lee Yuen waited on the stage, looked at Jae-jo and said hello. Hello, Ji-lun. Thanks to Yun Fengqing for the 500-point reward. Chapter 221 Competing with Ji-lun on the same stage, Little Moon kisses affectionately. If the confession fails, chase her bestie. Author, Ren Shenkui Ken Ru Xiahua. Chapter 374. Hello, Xiahua, nice to meet you, Jae-jo said hello with a smile and extended his hand. He looked at Lee Yuen in front of him and suddenly felt some pressure, which came from the height difference. He is only a little over 1.7, while Lee Yuen's height in shoes is 1.85. He is just 1 head short, and the gap is very obvious. With 2 people standing on the stage at the same time, he felt like a little bird clinging to him. Lee Yuen excitedly held Jojo Alun's hand and said with a smile. Ji-lun, I am your fan. I grew up listening to your songs. I am really excited to be on this stage in an interactive session. Xiahua, I have also listened to your singing. You sing very well and you are really talented, Jae-jo also praised with a smile. Ji-lun, you are ridiculous, I just wrote it for fun. Lee Yuen looked flattered. He didn't expect that Jae-jo, the superstar of the Chinese music scene, would hear the songs he wrote. Just before I went on stage, I was still thinking that it would be great if I could take a photo with you, but I didn't expect that I could be on this stage and stand with you. It is really a dream come true. Seeing Lee Yuen's fanboy look, Jae-jo smiled even brighter. He stretched out the microphone to the audience and shouted. Friends here, please ask Xiahua to sing a song for us, okay? As a superstar, Jae-jo has never experienced any big scenes, and he is very good at stirring up the atmosphere. After saying that, he pretended to be listening, holding the microphone in different directions. Suddenly, the entire Magic City Stadium was filled with shouts like a roaring mountain and a tsunami. Xiahua, come on. Xiahua, come on. Xiahua, come on. Lee Yuen was on the stage, listening to the hysterical shouts of tens of thousands of fans, and felt his legs shaking slightly. The feeling of going on stage this time is different from the last time I went on stage with Zhang Ziyu at the Jida New Year party. Now it's a real concert, and all the fans are here. The scene is more spectacular, the cheers are more enthusiastic, and the atmosphere is better. Off stage. Zhong Tingyu looked at the figures of Lee Yuen and Jojo Alun, cheering excitedly, waving her little hands, and the sound of senior was mixed with the cheers of the audience. She took out her mobile phone and kept taking pictures. Some other Li Yuan fans at the scene, such as Xiao Yan, a girl with glasses, were also very excited. Wow wow wow, Lulu, Xiaohua's male idol is really on stage. He and Jilun are standing together, my two male idols. I'm going crazy with excitement. Xiaohuada actually went on stage. Let me just say, there must be some inside story in this live interactive session. Hee, although there is an inside story, I like this kind of inside story. I have always been looking forward to Xiaohua's concert, but there is no way I didn't expect that when I come to Jilun's concert tonight, I can actually hear Xiaohua singing. That's right, with one concert ticket, you can hear the concerts of two idols. It's money well spent. It's a worthwhile trip tonight. Li Yuan listened to the cheers of the audience and glanced at Jie unexpectedly, feeling very excited. This person next to me is Jie, who is widely recognized as the most talented musical genius in the history of the Chinese music world and a true superstar. He never expected that he would come to a concert with Zhong Tingyu on a whim, and that he would be invited to the stage by such a coincidence, and that Jie actually knew him. Jie looked at Li Yuan, smiled and joked. Xiaohua, did you hear it? The applause of tens of thousands of fans at the scene was very enthusiastic, and the shouts were deafening. Sing a song for the fans here. Everyone is looking forward to it. Listening to Jie taking the lead in making noise, Li Yuan's expression was slightly startled, and then he felt that he was too big, and he didn't want to show his shame in front of Jie and tens of thousands of fans. Jilun, there are so many fans here, which puts a lot of pressure on me. What if I don't sing well? Jie laughed. Xiaohua, be confident, all the fans are waiting for you. As he said that, he pointed the microphone outward and looked at the audience. Friends, do you want to hear Xiaohua sing? Turn it up. Think. Think. The uniform cheers were deafening. Li Yuan was a little confused. He didn't do much to promote his songs. He didn't even have a serious album. When did he have so many fans? Xiaohua, look, all the fans here are waiting. Let's sing a song. Li Yuan nodded with a wry smile, raised the microphone, and looked at the audience. Since Jilun and all my friends have a warm invitation, I will show my shame once. If I don't sing well, everyone will pretend they didn't hear it. I don't know, which one do you want to listen to? As soon as Li Yuan finished speaking, various voices appeared in the audience. We want to listen to Su Yan. I want to listen to Confession Balloon. Just met you, Xiaohua will sing this song. The Summer Flower Male God, any song is fine, I like them all. Li Yuan was hesitating in his heart as he listened to the different voices in the audience. He can indeed sing a lot of songs. After receiving the blessing of rebirth memory, many classic songs from later generations clearly come to mind. Suddenly, his eyes saw Zhong Tingyu, who had been cheering for him, and he thought of a more appropriate way. Whether it was No Makeup, Confession Balloon or Just Met You, he sang it to Zhang Ziyu. In his opinion, this is a memory that belongs to him and Xiao Yuer. Today he came here with Zhong Tingyu, and it always feels not right to sing a song written for another girlfriend. Perhaps, changing to a new song would be better. During the National Day, when the two were in the mall, he thought of what he promised Zhong Tingyu to write another song for her. He has been preparing this song for a long time. He planned to sing it to Zhong Tingyu when the Shura field broke out, and he had practiced it in advance. Later, because of the matchmaking of his mother-in-law Gu Langzhen, he did not use the song to express his love. This occasion is more appropriate. Li Yuan raised the microphone, smiled at Jie, and looked at the audience. His eyes finally stopped at Zhong Tingyu, and he slowly said, "Dear friends, I promised a girl that I would write a song for her." As soon as Li Yuan started speaking, the noisy and lively concert became quiet in an instant, and tens of thousands of fans were quietly listening to Li Yuan's speech. Today, this girl is also here. I want to use the stage and this opportunity to give the song to her. Zhong Tingyu, who was in the audience, was stunned when she heard Li Yuan's voice. She stared at Li Yuan tightly, her heart was throbbing, and all kinds of thoughts emerged in her mind. Is he confessing to me on this stage? Is he going to sing a song written specifically for me? On the stage. Zhou listened to Li Yuan's words with a smile on his face, and followed Li Yuan's gaze to see the pretty figure standing up in the first row of the audience. Even he was somewhat astonished. Zhou thought to himself, could this girl be Xiaohua's girlfriend? She is really good looking. He has been in the industry for many years and has seen many female stars, but there are only a few who can surpass the girl in front of him in terms of appearance. I feel as if I am astonished. Under the gaze of the audience, Li Yuan kept looking in the direction of Zhong Tingyu and continued to speak. Little Moon, this song is called Just Once, I hope you like it. After Li Yuan finished speaking, he looked at Zhou and asked, Jay, can you lend me a guitar? Zhou smiled and nodded, of course no problem. He gestured to the backstage, and soon, a staff member brought a guitar and handed it to Li Yuan. Li Yuan plucked the strings. This song was the second song he had promised to prepare for Zhong Tingyu before. He had also practiced in secret, so there was no problem playing and singing. Li Yuan stood in front of the microphone, with no one else in his sight except Zhong Tingyu. The strings of the zither are beating, and Li Yuan's voice is echoing in the stadium with tens of thousands of people. I want to see you laugh, I want to play with you. I want to hold you in my arms. Just once, I will take you to see the end of time. On a sunny day, laugh heartily. If the confession fails, chase her bestie. Author, Ren Shenkui Kan Ru Xiahua. Chapter 375. In the free air, noisy. Do you know that the only thing I want is? In the audience, Zhong Tingyu listened to Li Yuan's soulful singing. At this moment, he only existed in his eyes. Even if there are tens of thousands of spectators around, it does not affect the eyes of the two people meeting each other in the stadium. Just once, senior, it's good to have you. Zhong Tingyu murmured to herself with blurred eyes. Her heart was trembling violently. She understood the song and Li Yuan's affection for her. The scenes with Li Yuan appeared in his mind, including the story Li Yuan told him. Senior, I am also willing to accompany you till eternity. Next to Li Yuan, Zhou alone looked very shocked when he listened to the song Just Once sung by Li Yuan. Even though the backstage staff had just reminded him of Li Yuan's various experiences, he had already expected that the very young freshman in front of him was very talented in music and might not be inferior to himself at the same age. But when I heard that Li Yuan sang a new song directly under the gaze of tens of thousands of fans, I was extremely shocked. In just over a month, the young man in front of me has already composed 4 very classic songs. How could this not shock him? He is indeed quite talented. This song is really nice and it is also an award-winning song. Zhou thought to himself, quietly enjoying the song sung by Li Yuan. The tens of thousands of fans in the audience were also very crazy and excited when they heard Li Yuan sang a song. They thought Li Yuan would sing one of the 3 songs No Makeup, Confession Balloon and Just Met You, but they didn't expect that he would sing a new song. Moreover, it is a very nice new song. The rhythm is very slow, but the story is very beautiful. People can't help but immerse themselves in it and recall the sweet love they have experienced. Wow wow wow, Lulu, my ears are going to be pregnant. This song Just Once by Xiahua Male God is really nice. It makes me feel like I have returned to my first love in college. I think of my first love, woo woo woo. As expected of a talented musical genius, Xiahua is also great. This song is really nice, and it is another song that can compete for the best single of the year. Sisters, look at the big screen. Is the girl on the big screen the girl to whom the Xiahua Male God confessed his love? Live, She's so beautiful, no wonder it makes my boyfriend's heart flutter, she's a real handsome man and a beautiful woman. Xiaohua's male idol is also tall, handsome, and so talented, they are really a perfect match. The girl was so moved that she cried, if anyone confesses like me, I will marry him on the spot. Amid the cheers at the scene, Zhong Tingyu burst into tears as she listened to Li Yuan continue to hum. At this moment, in her whole world, only the tall figure on the stage filled his heart, and there was no room for anything else. The world is still small, I will accompany you to the ends of the world. In the corner where there are no worries, stop looking. Grow old slowly in a carefree time. Did you know? All my heart beats with you. After Li Yuan finished humming, he looked at Zhong Tingyu and smiled. Little moon, it's so nice to have you. Senior, Zhong Tingyu listened to Li Yuan's affectionate confession and couldn't bear it anymore. She rushed onto the stage and ran towards Li Yuan. Amidst the exclamations of the audience, Zhong Tingyu seemed to have released all the love in her heart, breaking away from all the constraints, like a free butterfly, flying to Li Yuan's side. Zhong Tingyu looked at Li Yuan in front of her, her beautiful eyes full of affection, and she expressed her love loudly. Senior, I love you so much. After saying this, Zhong Tingyu stood up on tiptoes affectionately, put her arms around Li Yuan's neck, and gave her a loving kiss. Wow, 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 Lulu, I was shown off, the male idol Xiahua was forcefully kissed, why am I a little sour, let go of my male idol, let me do it. Tisk tisk tisk, this concert was not in vain. Not only did I listen to Xiahua's new song, but I also watched a live confession. The girlfriend of the summer flower goddess is so beautiful, no wonder she is worthy of letting the summer flower goddess confess her love in front of tens of thousands of people. You see Ji Lun's expression, it's very strange, he seems to be reminiscing, could it be that my Ji Lun also wants to fall in love? Alas, at this moment, Ji Lun, I don't know if he misses Jolin Tsai. The couple who were obviously made for each other actually broke up, both of them will have regrets. Center stage. Li Yuan and Zhong Tingyu hugged and kissed amidst the applause and cheers of tens of thousands of spectators. After a long time, Zhong Tingyu shyly broke away, holding Li Yuan's hand shyly, lowering her head slightly, not daring to look at the audience. In the audience, her heart was already in her throat with nervousness. The moment Li Yuan finished singing, she could no longer hold back her feelings and ran towards the person in her heart desperately. Jae-jo raised the microphone, looked at the beautiful couple, and took the lead in applauding and blessing. Xiahua, this scene between you two really caught me off guard and made me feel like I was being shown off. Li Yuan held Zhong Tingyu's hand, his expression a little shy, and said with a smile. Ji Lun, I'm sorry for occupying your stage. Jae-jo laughed. I am very grateful to invite Xiahua to the stage during the interactive session to sing such a beautiful song for the fans. With that said, Jae-jo guest starred as the host again and shouted loudly to the audience. Friends, let Xiahua sing another song, okay? Listening to Jae-chu's voice. A moment of time. The audience immediately burst into deafening cheers. The sound of one more song resounded through the sky, as if it could lift the roof of the stadium. Seeing this, Li Yuan quickly waved his hand, looked at Jojo Lun, and said with a smile. Ji Lun, please forgive me. I'm already under tremendous pressure just for this song. If I keep singing, I feel like the club will die. Jae-jo sincerely praised, Xiahua, you sang very well just now, very emotionally, very good. Li Yuan thought to himself, is it possible to have no feelings? Although my singing is not good, I mainly express my true feelings. Although I am a bit scumbag, I do feel sincere towards Little Moon. Music is the window to the soul. You can tell whether the song is emotional or not as soon as you listen to it. Ji Lun, don't praise me. If you praise me again, I will be proud. Li Yuan joked to himself, returned the guitar to Jae-jo, took Zhong Tingyu's hand, and spoke with a smile. Ji Lun, the stage is back to you. We are in the audience, listening to your performance. With that said, without waiting for Jay Chu's reaction, he quickly pulled Zhong Tingyu and trotted off the stage and returned to his seat. Even though he was already sitting in his seat, Li Yuan's heartbeat was still at a high level. He was already sweating while holding Zhong Tingyu's little hand. Zhong Tingyu glanced at Li Yuan with a sweet smile, took Li Yuan's big hand, put it on her thigh, and smiled at him. "Senior, you are the best." On stage, Jay Zhou picked up the microphone, looked at the audience, and said with a smile, "I just listened to the new song just once brought by Xia Hua. I cried when I listened to it. It was so emotional. Friends, in the years of youth, I hope that each of us and the people we love will have no regrets. Accompany him, her, to the ends of the earth and the ends of the earth, and accompany him, her, until the end of the world. Let us once again give our applause to Xia Hua and thank him for bringing us this beautiful song." As soon as he finished speaking, tens of thousands of fans in the audience applauded in unison. Li Yuan stood up from his seat, bowed slightly and waved in different directions. The concert was going on, but Li Yuan and Zhong Tingyu no longer cared about this place. The two of them cuddled together and whispered secretly. "Senior, when did you write this song just once?" Zhong Tingyu asked curiously. Li Yuan touched Zhong Tingyu's head and said with a smile, "Little Moon, do you still remember what you said to me when I went to sign the game copyright contract on National Day? I promise you that I will grant you a request before giving it to you. Write a song." When Zhong Tingyu heard that, the scenes immediately appeared in his mind. It was also that day when two people were truly united in a deep relationship, and they had each other in their bodies. That day was only half a month away from now, but it seemed like a long, long time had passed. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. If the confession fails, chase her bestie. Author, Ren Shenkui Kan Ru Xiahua. Chapter 376. Maybe this is love. Once you fall deeply into it, even if you don't stay together every minute and every second of every day, you will miss it very much. Zhong Tingyu stared deeply into Li Yuan's eyes and spoke affectionately. "Senior, I like this song very much." Chapter 222 Meeting Chi Siya by Chance, Best Friends Advice. Jay Chu's World Tour concert lasted until around 8 p.m. Because of Li Yuan's sudden appearance, the effect of this concert was beyond expectations. Tens of thousands of fans kept screaming throughout the concert. Li Yuan has also experienced the madness that a concert can bring, and seems to understand why fans always die suddenly at Michael Jackson's concerts because they are too excited. The atmosphere is indeed too burning. Outside the gymnasium, Li Yuan touched Zhong Tingyu, who was on the passenger side, and said with a smile, "Little Moon, are you happy tonight?" Zhong Tingyu stared into Li Yuan's eyes and answered sweetly, "Happy. Thank you, Senior, for staying with me. I like this song you wrote for me very much." Li Yuan touched Zhong Tingyu's head and said with a smile, "As long as you are happy, I want to be with you and do all the most romantic things in the world so that our youth will leave no regrets. Let me accompany you, I will live forever." Zhong Tingyu looked at Li Yuan quietly, her heart trembling as she listened to his words. "I want to go with you to eat delicious food all over the world, to travel to the great rivers and mountains, to experience everything, from Antarctica to the North Pole, from morning to dusk, from now to the end of life, and walk with you until the end of life." And Li Yuan stared seriously at Zhong Tingyu's bright and charming eyes and asked gently, "Little Moon, are you willing to accompany me all the way?" Zhong Tingyu met Li Yuan's gaze, her heart already in her throat and beating thumpingly. She only said 3 words softly. "I do." Li Yuan smiled happily and relaxedly. That is spiritual relaxation. It's still early, let's go shopping, have a meal, and watch a movie. Zhong Tingyu's eyes lit up and she said with a smile, well, let's go shopping and buy you some clothes. Buying clothes for yourself? Li Yuan looked stunned, looked at his clothes, and said with a smile, little moon, am I ugly in this outfit? Zhong Tingyu's eyes curved into crescents, she pursed her lips and smiled softly. No, it just feels a bit mature and not suitable for your age group. Besides, as a girlfriend, don't you have to buy clothes for your boyfriend? Li Yuan smiled. He bought all his clothes by himself. They were either small suits or sportswear. They were indeed not very good looking. He once said that from now on, he would leave his own dressing to Xia's Haijin, but Xia's Haijin obviously didn't know much about dressing. Ahem, I often go to the company, so I dress more maturely to look more stable. Zhong Tingyu touched Li Yuan's head with a smile, looked at Li Yuan's very ordinary short hairstyle, and joked. Senior, do you know how I felt when you and Jejo were on the same stage today? What does it feel like? Li Yuan smiled coquettishly. He already had a guess in his mind and knew what Zhong Tingyu was going to say. Zhong Tingyu bit her lip, reached out and touched Li Yuan's face affectionately, with a playful look in her eyes, and joked. Senior, your figure can completely crush Jejo, but your hairstyle is a bit ordinary. If you have a fashionable hairstyle and flashy clothes, you will look like a real big star. Li Yuan took Zhong Tingyu's little hand, put it next to his mouth, and said with a smile. Then let's go and let you, the most beautiful stylist in the world, give your husband a handsome look. Zhong Tingyu pursed her lips and snickered, okay. After dinner, Li Yuan and Zhong Tingyu wandered around the pedestrian street next to Longjia building. Zhong Tingyu held Li Yuan's arm, pointed to a hairdresser, and asked, Senior, do you want to go to the whole hair salon first? Li Yuan glanced at this luxuriously decorated beauty salon. In his previous life, he would never have entered. He was afraid that he would not be able to afford the money, and he would be charged by the hair. In this life, since wealth is free, I don't care anymore. Li Yuan looked at the time, laughed, and shook his head. Little moon, it's already 9 o'clock. Let's go shopping first and buy you some clothes, shoes, and so on. Seeing that Li Yuan was unwilling to have his hair styled, Zhong Tingyu chuckled and did not force it. It's indeed a bit late now, and doing hair is relatively slow, often taking an hour or two. Okay then. Let's go shopping first. Zhong Tingyu held Li Yuan's arm and looked at this bustling pedestrian street. Because it was the weekend, the streets were filled with young men and women dressed in all kinds of costumes. Li Yuan and Zhong Tingyu walked together without wearing masks, which allowed Zhong Tingyu's appearance to be released to the greatest extent. It was particularly eye-catching and had a 100% chance of turning heads. The two of them just browsed stores randomly, some were famous brand stores, and some were just ordinary domestic brands. It has to be said that shopping is the nature of all women. Even Li Yuan's body blessed after rebirth will feel a little tired. This is not physical exhaustion, but some kind of mental exhaustion. Senior, come with me quickly. I see this Hermes store has very nice men's clothing. Yeah, Li Yuan followed and replied weakly. He was carrying large and small bags in both hands. These were the results of just 1 hour. Most of what he carried in his hands were clothes, shoes, and the like that Zhong Tingyu picked out for himself. Zhong Tingyu looked very surprised when she saw Li Yuan looking like he had beaten the eggplant with frost, and asked with concern. Senior, are you feeling uncomfortable somewhere? Li Yuan immediately regained his hearty smile, shrugged and replied. No, let's go in quickly. Zhong Tingyu said softly oh and said with a smile, I thought you were tired from shopping, senior. Li Yuan immediately retorted, I've only been shopping for an hour, how can I be tired? Hey, you don't know how good my body is. When did I not start in an hour? Listening to Li Yuan's meaningful words, Zhong Tingyu understood instantly, rolled her eyes at Li Yuan, and spat with a slightly red cheek. Senior, since you're not tired, let's continue shopping. Humph, I don't believe that you can go shopping better than me. I heard my mother say that men will be very tired when they go shopping. They can sit down but never stand. Li Yuan thought to himself, your mother is really right, he wanted to sit down and have a rest. Even though I was just walking and trying on clothes, I felt more tired than an hour of high-intensity poker games. It was really strange. In the Hermes store, Zhong Tingyu chose a casual jacket for Li Yuan and made gestures on Li Yuan for a while, looking like a caring girlfriend. Senior, autumn is coming soon. You can wear autumn clothes. I think the suit looks very good. Do you want to try it? Before Li Yuan opened his mouth, a female clerk from the Hermes store quickly praised him. Handsome guy, your girlfriend has really good taste. This coat is our Hermes new autumn style. It fits your temperament very well. Li Yuan was used to hearing the clerk's praise. He had listened to it no less than 100 times in the past hour. Okay, then I'll try it. On the pedestrian street, Qi Siyu and Liang Jingjing were shopping on the street, whispering between them. Siyu, why have you been in a bad mood these past 2 days and have no motivation to even go shopping? Didn't you like shopping the most in the past? Qi Siyu shook his head with gloomy eyes, feeling irritable in his heart. In the past few days, she found that she was a little too obsessed with someone she shouldn't love. She thought about him every moment, missed the smell of his body, missed his talent, and wanted to know the completeness of that song. Part. If the confession fails, chase her bestie. Author, Ren Shenkui Kan Ru Xiahua. Chapter 377. However, in the past few days, that man never came to her, as if he had nothing to do with her. Before she went shopping with her best friend in the evening, she mustered up the courage to send the man a message, but she did not receive any reply, which made her feel very sad. This carefree man doesn't seem to be interested in himself. However, she had already become very interested in this man. Liang Jingjing saw Qi Siyu's expression. As good friends who rented a house together and worked together, she immediately understood Qi Siyu's little thoughts. Siyu, are you still thinking about your student? Qi Siyu was struck by what he said and quickly shook his head in denial. Of course not, I was thinking about work. Liang Jingjing curled her lips. Tisk, we have been sleeping in the same bed for more than a year, and I still don't understand you. You must be thinking about that student of yours. Siyu, I really don't understand. What is so good about that boy that he deserves to be so worried about you? Or do you have a soft spot for the forbidden love between teachers and students? Hearing the words teacher-student love, Qi Siyu blushed, and a strange emotion came to her heart. Her best friend Liang Jingjing didn't know what happened between her and the student, and thought she was just using him as a shield to reject Peng Cheng's excuse. Jingjing, I said no. It's already 10 o'clock in the evening. I don't want to go shopping anymore. Let's go back. When Liang Jingjing heard that Qi Siyu was going home, she quickly took her hand, pointed to the store in front, and begged. Siyu, I finally waited until the weekend. I will go to work tomorrow. Please go shopping with me for a while. Qi Siyu replied speechlessly, Jingjing, we have been shopping for 3 hours. Besides, you only want to shop, but you're not willing to buy. I feel like the shop assistants looked at us both strangely. Liang Jingjing snorted confidently, who said shopping means shopping? I just like shopping, right? I go to their store and bring them popularity. Qi Siyu chuckled, glanced at her best friend from the Moonlight Clan, and joked, Jingjing, I can guarantee that you don't have $200 in your body now. Liang sighed quietly, blushed with embarrassment, and replied with a slight lack of confidence, Who said that? I just did the math and I still have 250 on me. Chi Siyu shook her head helplessly and reminded, Jing Jing, if you have nothing to do, don't buy so many clothes and bags. It's better to save some money. Liang Jingjing replied very disapprovingly, why do we girls need to save money? We don't need to make money to support our family. How can we find a good man if we don't dress ourselves up beautifully? Chi Siyu asked, well, what will happen when we get married and have children? Liang Jingjing answered as it should, there are men. There are men to make money to support the family. In the future, we can find a rich man to marry. We are only responsible for being beautiful and beautiful. After Liang Jingjing finished speaking, she looked at her best friend's perfect body and sexy face and joked. See you are so beautiful. You will definitely find a very rich husband in the future. Your husband will support you and you will support me. We can be together happily again and never be separated for the rest of our lives. Hee, the rumored boyfriend in your class is very good. Although he is only a freshman, he must be quite rich and has a great figure. He looks very masculine. If you want me to see you, just pretend to be real and obey him directly. I can hold your lap from now on. Chi Siyu blushed and rolled her eyes at this inconspicuous best friend. If you keep talking nonsense, I'm really leaving. Liang Jingjing quickly stopped Chi Siyu and muttered. Okay, if you don't say it, don't say it. I was just joking with you. Why do you get so anxious when I talk about you, a student? There is a Hermes store in front. I heard that there is a new limited edition bag today. Let's go take a look. Chi Siyu frowned speechlessly, what can I do after seeing it? I can't afford it. You can still enjoy it if you can't afford it, Liang Jingjing chuckled, holding Chi Siyu's arm and walking towards the Hermes store. I really admire you, Chi Siyu rolled his eyes and followed helplessly. As a luxury brand store, the Hermes store is very spacious. At this point, there are no other customers in the store. As soon as Chi Siyu and Liang Jingjing entered the Hermes store, they saw a very tall young girl who looked like a college student trying on an off-white bag. Beauty, this bag is a new fall model from Hermes. It is limited to 1,000 pieces worldwide. It is very suitable for your temperament. The Hermes clerk introduced it enthusiastically. As clerks of luxury brands, they have long developed a sharp eye. Just by casually scanning a few shopping bags placed by Li Yuan on the ground, they knew that the woman in front of them, with outstanding face, figure, and temperament, must have a strong personality. Purchasing power. While praising Zhong Tingyu, he glanced at Liang Jingjing, who was looking at her eagerly. Smiling secretly in her heart, she could tell the contrast between the two at a glance, which one could afford it and which one was just shopping. Zhong Tingyu also saw Chi Siyu and Liang Jingjing, their eyes slightly confused. She felt that this sexy and beautiful woman seemed familiar, but she was definitely not aware of each other. While Zhong Tingyu glanced at Chi Siyu out of the corner of her eye, Chi Siyu was also looking at the girl quietly, feeling a very familiar feeling in her heart. Liang Jingjing held a bag, slung it in her hand, gestured, and spoke calmly. Siyu, what do you think of this bag? It only costs more than 10,000 yuan. I think it's pretty good. Do you like it? I'll give it to you. Listening to Liang Jingjing's words, Chi Siyu felt helpless. She wanted to say directly, okay, then you can give it to me. But she knew better than anyone else that Liang Jingjing's pocket was cleaner than her face. He replied absent-mindedly, I have a similar style bag at home, let's look at the others. Liang Jingjing looked regretful, well, I think this bag is pretty good. Since you don't like it, forget it, and try something else. At this moment, suddenly, the door of the fitting room opened. Li Yuan, wearing a brand new casual jacket, came to Zhong Tingyu and asked. Little Moon, how do you feel when I wear it? Zhong Tingyu looked at the clothes she had chosen for Li Yuan, looked around, and nodded with satisfaction. Senior, I think it's very good. It matches your temperament. What do you think? I think it's okay. Li Yuan was answering when he suddenly heard a familiar voice. Jing Jing, I don't like this bag either. This voice was indeed very familiar to Li Yuan and he couldn't help but look over. As he looked over, the graceful and sexy figure also turned to look at him curiously. In an instant, the two people's eyes met, both looking very surprised. Li Yuan was confused. He didn't expect that by chance, he would meet the beautiful and sexy instructor Chi Siyu in this store. The moment Chi Siyu saw Li Yuan, her body suddenly seemed to be under a freezing spell. She was frozen in place, staring blankly at Li Yuan. She didn't even hear Liang Jingjing calling her from behind. Hey, Siyu, let me ask you, what about you, how about this? Liang Jingjing was carrying a bag and posing in front of the full-length mirror. Patting Chi Siyu on the shoulder, he saw his best friend looking blankly in one direction. What are you looking at? Liang Jingjing followed Chi Siyu's gaze and saw Li Yuan who was looking over. His eyes widened and he spoke subconsciously. Hey, aren't you that one? At this time, Li Yuan had already taken the initiative to come over and said hello calmly. Teacher Chi, what a coincidence. Seeing Li Yuan coming over, Chi Siyu met Li Yuan's gaze, her heart was like a deer bumping around, and she kept accelerating. For some reason, her sexy face suddenly became flushed, and she stared at Li Yuan with a strange tone. Hello. Zhong Tingyu glanced curiously at Li Yuan and the sexy woman with reddish cheeks in front of her. She looked a little confused. She took the initiative to hold Li Yuan's hand and ask softly. Senior, who is this? Li Yuan glanced at Zhong Tingyu who was looking confused, held her hand tightly, coughed, felt strong and calm in his heart, and introduced with a smile. Little Moon, this is Teacher Chi, the instructor of our class. When Zhong Tingyu heard this, she immediately smiled and greeted sweetly, Hello, Teacher Chi. Li Yuan introduced Zhong Tingyu again, Teacher Chi, this is my girlfriend Zhong Tingyu. Chi Siyu looked at Zhong Tingyu, who was tall, had a beautiful face, and looked even better than her. For some reason, her heart suddenly felt a little sour, and even her tone of voice changed a bit. She had naturally heard of Zhong Tingyu, who was called one of the two golden flowers of the Academy of Finance on the Daxia School Forum, and was also Li Yuan's rumored girlfriend. She had read the deleted posts several times in detail. She knew that Li Yuan and the two golden flowers from Caiyun had a very close relationship and even gave them sports cars. Hello. Liang Jingjing glanced at Li Yuan and Chi Siyu suspiciously, frowning slightly. Her intuition told her that something was wrong. Thinking back to the past 2 days, Chi Siyu looked absent-minded, as if he had lost his soul. Suddenly, the spirit of gossip in her heart burned brightly. If the confession fails, chase her bestie. Author, Ren Shenkui Ken Ru Xiahua. Chapter 378. Li Yuan asked, Teacher Chi, are you shopping too? Chi Siyu said and then stopped talking. She just glanced at Zhong Tingyu who was holding hands with Li Yuan from time to time, not knowing what she was thinking of writing. Li Yuan felt a little weird when he saw Chi Siyu's arrogant attitude. The sexy woman in front of him was still sending messages asking him what he was doing in the evening. However, he was attending a concert with Zhong Tingyu at that time, so he did not reply. Unexpectedly, it was already 10 o'clock in the evening, and I met him again while shopping. There are really too many coincidences in the world. At this time, the female clerk came over and asked. Handsome guy, how do you feel about this dress you tried on? Li Yuan nodded absently, it's okay, wrap it up for me. Okay, handsome. The female clerk smiled, looked at Zhong Tingyu again, and continued to ask. Beauty, this bag is the only one in our store. If you like it, you should get it as soon as possible. Only then did Li Yuan notice that Zhong Tingyu had an off-white bag on his shoulder. Little Moon, do you like this bag? Zhong Tingyu glanced at Li Yuan with a somewhat hesitant expression. The price tag of this bag was 28,800. She felt it was too expensive. One bag was the living expenses of many college students for several years. Before she could refuse, Li Yuan glanced at Zhong Tingyu's hesitant eyes and already understood in his heart. She likes this bag. Li Yuan waved his hand at the female Hermes clerk and spoke boldly. We also want this bag. The female clerk was overjoyed and quickly replied with a smile, okay, handsome guy, I'll wrap it up for you right now. Seeing that Li Yuan didn't even ask the price, Zhong Tingyu decided to buy it and quickly said. Senior, this is too expensive. I want to see other ones. Before he finished speaking, he was interrupted by Li Yuan with a smile, it's okay. If you like other things, you can just buy them all. Listening to Li Yuan's inhumane words, Zhong Tingyu's words suddenly stopped. Her beautiful eyes rolled at Li Yuan, and her eyes were filled with happiness. Such domineering words really make you feel safe. Liang Jingjing saw that Li Yuan bought a limited edition Hermes bag without asking about the price. She was so shocked that she couldn't open her mouth from ear to ear and stayed where she was, with stars in her eyes. She touched Chi Siyu, who was still in a daze, and whispered, Siyu, you are a bit of a student. You can buy a bag worth tens of thousands of dollars at a time. Seeing that Chi Siyu still didn't respond, Liang Jingjing joked in Chi Siyu's ear with words that only the two of them could hear. Siyu, why don't you feel aggrieved and sacrifice your body to take down this rich student? Chi Siyu's cheeks were slightly red, her heart was beating rapidly, and she glared at Liang Jingjing fiercely. Then he saw Li Yuan paying the bill and said with a little loss, Jingjing, we are tired from shopping, let's go back. Liang Jingjing was slightly stunned, pointed at Li Yuan, and asked doubtfully, Siyu, as a teacher, why don't you tell your students? Chi Siyu glanced at Li Yuan's back and shook his head, no, let's go. After saying that, without waiting for Liang Jingjing's reaction, she walked directly outside. Liang Jingjing saw Chi Siyu's unusual behavior and muttered, it's really strange. Then, he quickly followed out. In front of the checkout counter, the female clerk wrapped up her casual jacket and bag and asked with a smile. Handsome guy, the total is 33,688 yuan. How do you pay? Li Yuan glanced at Chi Siyu out of the corner of his eye and saw that she was no longer in the store, so he calmly took out his bank card. Swipe your card. On the way back, Zhong Tingyu joked, Senior, the teacher Chi I met today is very beautiful and has a very elegant temperament. What class does she teach? Li Yuan's heart moved slightly. Zhong Tingyu, is this a woman's sixth sense? She is the counselor of our class. I don't know exactly what classes she teaches. Oh, Zhong Tingyu said meaningfully. She also felt that teacher Chi's behavior when he saw Li Yuan in the specialty store just now was a bit strange, not like a normal teacher meeting a student. Li Yuan's heartbeat quickened and he thought to himself, did Little Moon discover something? Little Moon, it's past 10 o'clock in the evening. Should we go to a movie or go home? Chapter 223 Can full body massage reduce swelling? Seeing Li Yuan skillfully changing the subject, Zhong Tingyu couldn't help rolling her eyes at Li Yuan, pursed her lips and snickered. Senior, you must be tired from shopping, right? Li Yuan answered energetically, fortunately, I'm not tired of going shopping with you. It's no problem to go shopping for another 2 hours. Zhong Tingyu showed a look of embarrassment and said seriously, hee, are you really not tired? Then let's continue shopping. Li Yuan looked dumbfounded and asked subconsciously, huh? Are you still shopping? Well, that's not what I meant. It's fine to continue shopping, but it feels like it's a bit late and there's no one on the street. Zhong Tingyu chuckled, stretched out her slender hand and tapped Li Yuan's head, and hummed. I feel like if I continue shopping, you won't dare to come out with me next time. It's getting late, let's go home. Li Yuan smiled coquettishly, started the engine, and asked, Little Moon, are you going back to school, or are you going back with me? Zhong Tingyu asked angrily, Senior, what do you think? She felt a little sad in her heart. She was an aunt, and Li Yuan, a playboy, wanted to send her back to school. If his aunt hadn't come, he would have taken him home without asking. When Li Yuan saw Zhong Tingyu suddenly turned his head away, his tone was a little strange, his heart was agitated, and then he realized that he had just said the wrong thing. He shouldn't have asked the jealous little moon if he wanted to go back to school, but just took her home and finished the matter. Ahem, it's not Monday tomorrow and I have to go to class. I'm afraid you won't be able to get up. Li Yuan explained awkwardly, then touched Zhong Tingyu's head and skillfully changed the topic. Then let's go home. While we still have time in the evening, we can learn to code and update the novel. I've been a little stuck lately, and I'm too busy. The number of words updated every day has been much less. The readers are urging me to update every day. If I miss a chapter every day, I feel an inexplicable feeling of guilt. Li Yuan joked self-deprecatingly. It is really unbelievable to say that a rich generation with a net worth of over 100 million and free wealth has to work hard to code every night. But sometimes, this may really be a hobby. Just like the platinum masters such as San Xiao, Tudo, Dong Ji, Tomato, and others in the previous life, none of them have hundreds of millions in assets and can enjoy life freely, but they still work tirelessly to code. This can only be said to be due to interest. Zhong Tingyu heard that it was already past 10 o'clock in the evening and Li Yuan had to work overtime to write a novel when he got home. This man, despite being so busy, spent a whole day with me, eating, shopping, and watching concerts without any complaints. The small emotion that had just arisen in her heart disappeared without a trace in an instant. Her big eyes flashed, she held Li Yuan's hand tightly, and said softly, Senior, don't work so hard in the future. If it's Kevin, just take a few days off and rest more. Li Yuan smiled and shook his head, so many readers are waiting for my updates every day. It's better not to ask for leave. You should work harder now that you are young. Hey, when I earn enough 10 billion, I will retire completely and take you to travel around the world. Zhong Tingyu shyly grabbed Li Yuan's dishonest hand, squeaked, rolled her eyes at Li Yuan shyly, and said in a voice as light as a mosquito. Senior, when you get home, I will give you a massage, all over your body. Although Zhong Tingyu's voice was very weak, Li Yuan's hearing was very good. Listening to Zhong Tingyu's words, Li Yuan's eyes suddenly lit up, thoughts began to come to his mind, and a naughty smile appeared on his lips. Well, little moon, can a full body massage help reduce the swelling? Zhong Tingyu asked in surprise, Senior, what swelling are you talking about? Li Yuan chuckled and didn't answer. He directly grabbed Zhong Tingyu's little hand and placed it somewhere on his body. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. If the confession fails, chase her bestie. Author, Ren Shenkui Ken Ru Xiahua. Chapter 379. When Zhong Tingyu touched the thing, she instantly understood what Li Yuan had just said, and her cheeks were stained with crimson. Her beautiful eyes glared at Li Yuan fiercely, full of shyness. She opened her teeth slightly, panting and humming, Stinky Senior, you are so bad. Li Yuan smiled and put his head against Zhong Tingyu's nose, hee, is it okay? Zhong Tingyu turned her head and sent a barely audible sound. Yeah. On the other side, Qi Siyu and Liang Jingjing, After meeting Li Yuan, no matter what Liang Jingjing said, go shopping, sing K, go to the bar. Chi Siyu resolutely refused, without the slightest interest, and in desperation, the two took a taxi back directly. They rented a well-decorated apartment with 2 bedrooms, a living room and a bathroom next to the school. As soon as she entered the house, Chi Siyu took off her high heels, didn't even take a shower, and went into the room in a depressed mood. Liang Jingjing saw her best friend's strange behavior, and she looked gossipy, muttering to herself. Could it be that Ziyu really likes her student? Her performance along the way is too obvious, even a blind person can see it. Could it be that Ziyu is not using Li Yuan as a shield? This girl, is she really in love with him? Liang Jingjing muttered a few words, and when she thought of Li Yuan's identity and gossip, she couldn't help but smirk. Tisk tisk, Ziyu is really bold, she actually wants to have a teacher-student relationship with this playboy. I heard that this boy has 4 girlfriends. Interesting, very interesting. In the bedroom, Chi Siyu was lying on the bed, and on her long eyelashes, drops of crystal tears had hung on them at some point. She looked at her mobile phone, and the text message she sent to Li Yuan at 6 p.m. was like a stone sinking into the sea, and there was no news. This playboy who stole her heart, even when he was free to go shopping with his girlfriend, was too lazy to reply to her message, which made her feel sour. In my mind, I couldn't help but think of the few lines of songs that Li Yuan sang to me in the office that day. I never saw such a beautiful sunset again. When it gets dark, the shadow will disappear at the intersection. The one who waved, gently, still accompanies me in sleepwalking. It's the evening breeze, the stars, and the song I hummed. Chi Siyu stared at the bright moonlight outside the window, humming these lines of songs, with mixed feelings in her heart, and sighed faintly. She may have fallen in love with someone she shouldn't love. Li Yuan, why are you so talented and so outstanding that I'm sinking into it? I know it's wrong to do this, but I can't help but throw myself into the fire. What should I do now? Li Yuan didn't know that tonight's chance encounter would bring such a lot of trouble to a sexy female teacher who had fallen in love with him. Of course, he also saw the message sent by Chi Siyu, but he just took it as a simple inquiry and didn't take it to heart. The main reason was that after Wang Zhirong's sudden incident, he was really a little scared and his mentality had changed. He didn't want to flirt with other girls anymore. The 3 girls who were still around him were enough. Even so, he couldn't handle it. He wanted to give them the same sweet campus love. At this time, he had taken Zhong Tingyu back to another house in Jingxia Villa and was enjoying Zhong Tingyu's full-body massage, especially the cow shui swelling reducing service. Although Zhong Tingyu had her period and couldn't play poker properly, other projects were still available, and even more exciting, which made Li Yuan reluctant to leave. The next day, the two returned to school early in the morning and started a new campus life. The next week was the calmest week. Zhong Tingyu, Xia's Haijin, and Bai Wuxi seemed to have silently accepted this situation. They didn't bother each other and experienced this completely different campus love in a one-day manner. The operation and maintenance base located in the teaching and research building was officially put into operation. 3 roommates, including Lucia, Wu Hao, and Suzuki Yang, and more than a dozen part-time college students travel between the entrepreneurship base and the dormitory every day, entering the working state. Only when there are occasional school basketball games do they get together to play. With Li Yuan as the core of the class, the computer class 1 has also won all the way, achieved a record of 3 wins and 0 losses, and won the first place in the School of Electronic Information. As for the company's only product, Zhu, it also reached its peak in the number of registered users and active users a week after it went online. After a week of crazy explosion, the number of registered users of Zhu has reached more than 36 million, and the daily activity has also stabilized at around 2 million. It has become a new top forum website second only to Taiba, Weibo, Renren, and a few others. Companies and merchants come to him every day to place advertisements. Li Yuan himself often starts a 4.1-line life between the school dormitory, the entrepreneurship base, the company headquarters, and Jinxia Villa. At the same time, they are looking for the decoration of the Chayan USE milk tea shop, as well as product research and development. As the next key product, Li Yuan has high hopes for the Chayan USE brand. In the Yunjing Decoration Company, Li Yuan and Zhong Tingyu are looking at the renderings produced by the decoration company and discussing the decoration style. Xiao Yuiyu, what do you think of this decoration style? Zhong Tingyu looked at the pictures of the 10 stores and made her own suggestions. Senior, I feel that this Chayan USE Ago is not distinctive enough. The interior decoration style is a bit dark. I think light colors look better. It should have a warm and fashionable feeling. And the slogans on the wall are really ordinary and not attractive enough. According to what we said before, it is still a long way to go to decorate this kind of milk tea shop to attract people to check in and take pictures. There are also some problems with the layout inside. The interior should be a closed layout, and there should be enough space outside to form a style similar to a booth. There should be more charging ports, which can be used as a place for leisure and work. Zhong Tingyu is very concerned about his own milk tea shop and pointed out more than a dozen areas that need improvement. The decoration company staff on the side were sweating profusely. This was the third time the modification had been made. Mr. Li, Ms. Zhong, we will immediately correct the suggestions you made and give you the latest renderings as soon as possible. Zhong Tingyu reminded him seriously, pay more attention to the problems I pointed out. I searched for a lot of interesting slogans on the internet. You should add them and make them into artistic words. Also, each of these 10 stores must have a special decoration plan and background. Ms. Zhong, we will make the corrections in full accordance with your requirements. Li Yuan found Zhong Tingyu's meticulous look very interesting and secretly admired her in his heart. Girls' vision is indeed much better than that of boys, especially in decoration. He felt that the third modification plan had achieved the feeling he had been looking forward to. But Zhong Tingyu was still striving for perfection and not letting go of every detail. Even before Li Yuan knew it, she went to many milk tea shops in Shanghai and conducted field research to check the layout of various milk tea shops to learn the advantages and eliminate the disadvantages. Li Yuan could only say in his heart, "Little Moon, you did a great job." After the two left the decoration company, they came to the largest store in Longjia building. This store used to be a milk tea shop, but it was closed due to poor management. Zhong Tingyu took out her laptop and showed Li Yuan the names and types of milk tea she had sorted out, and introduced with a smile. Senior, look, there are a total of 25 kinds of fruit tea, milk tea, hot drinks, etc., all of which I collected based on the hot-selling drinks of various brands of milk tea shops. As for the names, I also came up with more interesting names based on the ideas you proposed, such as this Yangtze Ganlu and Red Memory and so on. Hee, by the way, Shan Shan and Tingro also helped me come up with a few nice names. Li Yuan looked at the names of these milk tea types and nodded with satisfaction. Zhong Tingyu is indeed a top student of a 985 university. She is also very elegant and artistic. She has made the brand name of the milk tea very artistic while reflecting the characteristics of the milk tea itself. Li Yuan praised sincerely, "Xiao Yu, you are awesome, even better than I thought. I believe that under your personal guidance, our milk tea will definitely become a national brand." Zhong Tingyu's eyes curved into crescents, and she smiled and snorted. "Senior, I have been looking at a lot of milk tea shops for this milk tea shop recently. I have read many books on various aspects and have been to no less than 100 milk tea shops for field research." Seeing Zhong Tingyu's expression of "please praise me," Li Yuan smiled, stretched out his hand to pinch her delicate and flawless face, and joked with a smile. "My little moon is really the best in the world. When you become a strong woman, Open Cha Yan Use all over the country and go public, I will just eat and wait for death, hug your thighs, and eat your soft rice. After Li Yuan finished speaking, his eyes also swept over Zhong Tingyu's bulging Xiong de Xiong Er. Zhong Tingyu's soft rice is really delicious, very flavorful, and soft and intoxicating. Zhong Tingyu saw Li Yuan's bitter eyes, and subconsciously pulled her coat to cover up the magnificent Xiong de Xiong Er. At the same time, she rolled her eyes at Li Yuan and spat. "Senior, I'm talking to you about serious matters, can you be more serious? If the confession fails, chase her bestie." Author, Ren Shenkui Ken Ru Xiahua. Chapter 380. Li Yuan replied seriously, "What I'm talking about is serious business. When you make Kaiyanyui a listed company, it won't be worth tens of billions. From now on, I will just wait to die and just eat soft rice." Zhong Tingyu snorted, "You want to eat soft food, why do you keep staring at my bear?" Li Yuan chuckled, "First, it is indeed soft, and second, it is indeed edible, hee, am I right?" "Stupid senior, I'm so annoying." Zhong Tingyu's cheeks were slightly red, and the scene of Li Yuan's gluttony appeared in his mind, and he couldn't help but twist his smooth long legs. "Auntie, I've been here for a week, and I'll probably be gone today." Looking affectionately at the man in front of him who looked very unruly and even a bit bad, Zhong Tingyu wanted to immediately pounce on him and integrate her body into him. Then, gently tell him in his ear that he is ready. When Li Yuan saw Zhong Tingyu's shy face, he just thought she was shy and continued to ask. "Little Moon, I think if we want to develop in the long term, we need to establish a complete industrial chain. We need to have a material warehouse, a research and development department, a transportation department, and we also need to provide professional training for store employees and design our own clothes." Li Yuan was now 100% convinced of Zhong Tingyu's talent and spoke out all his thoughts at once. Different from other crude milk tea shops, Cha Yanyuiya focuses on one specialty. Only in this way can a brand effect be formed and it can rise and grow rapidly. Zhong Tingyu listened to Li Yuan's opinions carefully, nodded constantly, and had many new ideas in her mind. "Senior, I think that in addition to what you said, we need to register trademarks and name patents in time. In this way, when our milk tea shop becomes really popular, even if a company plagiarizes our ideas, we can sue them." Li Yuan added, "As for the clerks, I suggest that all of them should be handsome boys and beautiful girls. The main one should be good looking. It doesn't matter even if the salary is higher, so that they can be worthy of the name Cha Yan Use." Zhong Tingyu rolled her eyes at Li Yuan, listened to his thoughts, covered her mouth and chuckled, "Senior, do you want to collect more beauties in the name of the company?" Li Yuan felt that he had been wronged and immediately retorted, "How is this possible? I am the kind of carefree person. Besides, is there any girl in the world who is more beautiful than you? Why don't I believe it?" Zhong Tingyu also laughed secretly at Li Yuan's reaction. She was just joking to tease Li Yuan. "Who makes the man in front of me be so carefree? Hee, tell me, why do you want a beautiful woman to be a store clerk?" Li Yuan explained seriously without a red face and a heartbeat, "Ahem, Little Moon, you don't know that there is an economy in this world called the dog-licking economy." Zhong Tingyu asked in surprise, "Senior, what is the dog-licking economy?" Li Yuan coughed and explained with a guilty conscience, "Well, for example, a boy likes a girl, and the girl doesn't like the boy, but the boy is very dedicated and wants to give everything to the girl. I was frugal, but I saved the money to buy a gift for this girl." "Ahem, Little Moon, why are you looking at me like this? I'm talking metaphorically, do you understand?" Zhong Tingyu glanced at Li Yuan meaningfully, smiled and said nothing, feeling very strange in her heart. "It seems that someone in front of me once pursued a girl like this in high school. But it's not exactly the same." Li Yuan was a little numb when he saw Zhong Tingyu's strange eyes. The more he talked about it, the more it seemed like he was looking in a mirror. Ahem, little moon, that's probably what I mean. In fact, all major stores like this method. Just like some brand stores we go to, they also give priority to beautiful clerks when they recruit. It's just the appearance effect. I really don't want to recruit more beautiful shop assistants. Zhong Tingyu naturally understood what Li Yuan meant, and she strongly agreed with the dog-licking economy in her heart. She has encountered this situation before, but she firmly rejected them all. But not all girls will firmly reject the gifts given by some suitors, or dog lickers. Well, senior, I understand what you mean. Zhong Tingyu looked at Li Yuan with a smile. So, when will we start recruiting? There are also issues with factories, warehouses, and trademarks. I feel there are still many things to do. Li Yuan nodded. Well, there are indeed many things to do. It is not easy to open a tea brand. We have to do all kinds of things. Li Yuan touched Zhong Tingyu's long legs with one hand, pinched her cheek with the other hand, and said with a smile. Little moon, I've worked hard on you recently. Some parts of me have become a bit thin. Zhong Tingyu blushed and asked, Senior, Shan and Ting Ro have also helped me a lot recently. Follow me to do research and make plans. Do you think I should recruit them into our company and do some work? How about a part-time job? Li Yuan chuckled nonchalantly, this is a small matter, just make your own decision. Zhong Tingyu rolled her eyes at Li Yuan, pursed her lips and chuckled, you are the boss, responsible for managing the money, and I am the boss's wife, responsible for the work. Li Yuan laughed. After untying his knot, Zhong Tingyu's character has indeed become much more interesting. He can often make him laugh uncontrollably and can provide emotional value. Little moon, just do what you want. Your two roommates are not stupid either. It would be better if they could give you some help. We still have a lot to do next. Looking at this store now, this store is really small. I will contact the real estate company and buy or rent another space to use as the headquarters of the milk tea company. I'm really busy recently. There are also some new ideas that need to be researched and implemented on Zhihu.com. You need to pay more attention to the recruitment, research and development, purchase channels, etc. of the milk tea company. Zhong Tingyu nodded. She naturally understood that Li Yuan was indeed very busy. Not only was he busy with the company and writing, he was also busy with his other two girlfriends. Senior, I know, don't worry. Li Yuan nodded. Suddenly, the cell phone rang. He took it out and saw that it was the real estate manager Wang Jun calling. Mr. Li, I have already found several houses for the duplexes and large flats you wanted to see a few days ago. When will you be free to come and take a look? Thanks to Yun Fengqing for the 500-point reward. Thanks to book friend 2022090605111645 for the 500-point reward. Chapter 224 Zhong Tingyu, Senior, do you want to be slept with? Hearing Wang Jun's words, Li Yuan suddenly realized that this week had been so calm, warm and romantic that he almost forgot about it. He casually replied, yeah, okay, I'll go over and take a look later. After hanging up the phone, Li Yuan looked at Zhong Tingyu and said, Little moon, come with me to see the house later. Zhong Tingyu looked puzzled, look at the house, senior, do you want to buy a house again? Li Yuan suddenly stretched out his hand, rubbed Zhong Tingyu's head, and said with a smile. The house in Jinxia Villa is a bit small, so I'm going to change it to a bigger one. It can accommodate a few more people, so it's more convenient. Zhong Tingyu's beautiful eyes flickered, she stared at Li Yuan strangely, and curled her lips, Senior, are you thinking wrongly? Li Yuan looked puzzled and said in confusion, what evil intentions can I have? Zhong Tingyu glared at Li Yuan and snorted, the house in Jinxia Villa is already very big. The 4 bedrooms are enough for the two of us. It's more than enough. How many more people do you want to live with? Do you dare to say that you are not thinking wrongly? Are you thinking that you will be sleeping with someone else? Ahem, Li Yuan almost choked out a mouthful of water. He didn't expect that Zhong Tingyu's ability to think divergently was so strong. He only dared to do what he dreamed of, and Zhong Tingyu said it directly. Even in his previous life, when he gave up on himself and spent money to buy one-time love, he never tried this kind of double happiness. It's okay for two people to play poker, but it would be too shameful for three people to play poker. Although sometimes, when dreaming, I do think about it. As a man, he didn't believe it. Who hasn't fantasized about it? Li Yuan's face turned red and he immediately began to quibble. Little Moon, how can your thoughts be so unhealthy? Are you thinking wrong? When I get home tonight, I will give you a good critique. Zhong Tingyu snorted and curled her lips, her eyes were speechless, she stared into Li Yuan's eyes with a smile and said. Senior, do you dare to swear that you really haven't thought about it? Ahem, I swear. Li Yuan raised his hand solemnly, but when he spoke, another word was missing. I thought about it. Zhong Tingyu pursed her lips and snickered, seeing Li Yuan admitting that he had such unhealthy thoughts in his heart. With a thought in her mind, she decided to tease Li Yuan, a playboy. Zhong Tingyu reached out and hugged Li Yuan's arm, hooked Li Yuan's chin with her slender hands, brought her sexy and seductive red lips close to Li Yuan's mouth, opened her mouth like a flower, and said seductively. Senior, if you really want to do that, it's not impossible. What? Li Yuan was shocked, his eyes were so wide that he could swallow an egg in his mouth. His heartbeat suddenly accelerated to 180 miles, and indescribable scenes appeared in his mind. Adrenaline continued to surge, and hormones began to show up. He felt a little dry and wanted to drink some milk. Little Moon, are you serious? Zhong Tingyu saw Li Yuan's excited expression and thought to herself, this big pig's hooves finally showed its foxtail, how dare you think so? Yeah, senior. But you have to convince that person first.